What's up, y'all? What's good? Welcome to the What Up Though Show. It's your boy Dame D, and I am back with another one. I'm gonna wait for a few people to check in and chime in. I got Big Dave getting ready to come on to the show with us. Give me 1 second. What? Can you hear me? Real talk. Can you hear me, Dave? I cannot hear you, bro.
Hold on.
I hear you now. Okay, yeah. So we have real talk with Big Dave. He's going to be doing audio with us. He won't be seen today, but I'll wait for a few of you guys to jump in before we start to show up. Big Dave.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to make sure you can be heard. So yeah, we're going to be doing an update on the Lambert sisters, the young ladies who were living with 13 children in unfit conditions. Hopefully if they see this, they can come and join us. I'm going to send links out to them. Or if you ladies see this show, reach out to me. What's good with you, big dog? How your night been going?
Oh, everything's good.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up, man. So
just busy as usual.
yeah. Yeah, well, you know how that is. The start of a new work week, man. Busy week. We all got things we need to tend to and things like that. But for the most part, man, I'm gonna go ahead and start everything up, Dave. I've been at work all day today. Someone reached out to me, and I'm not gonna say who they were. They wanted to be anonymous for right now, and they're willing to come on the show and talk to prove that they're a credible witness. I mean, a credible witness to everything I'm getting ready to pretty much talk about, man. So pretty much from what I was told today, these ladies are nothing but liars and frauds.
What?
Liars and frauds, and it's just so much that I'm getting ready to talk about that was told to me. So I really want to I want to wait for a few people to jump in. I really want these young ladies to actually come in. But let me make sure that we can be heard, Big Dave. I'm getting ready to check our audio and video to make sure we can be heard first. So give me 1 second. But yeah, man, I got a lot of information from these two ladies, and from the information that I got, it's not sounding too good. So I want to give them a chance to come on the show. They should be able to see. So give me 1 second. Let me make sure to check this audio. Okay, there we go. We definitely can be heard. So I want to give them an opportunity to come back on the show tonight, because like I said, someone reached out to me about these young ladies. And like I said, from what they were telling me and the things that they told me, that these young ladies allegedly, are liars and frauds, that they have been mistreating and misusing these children for years. For years, Dave. And it's just so much that I'm getting ready to talk about. Like I said, I would love for them to be able to come in and be able to combat this, but for the most part, man, there's nothing really too much to combat. This person that came forward today and talked to me, they're definitely credible. They know a lot about both of these young ladies, and the things that they were telling me were, quite disturbing. A lot of the situation, a lot of the things that they're going through, they did not have to go through, because what was told to me, that these ladies were adopted, and I don't know how true this is, but they come from some parents who recently just passed away, and they had a bunch of properties that was they had a bunch of real estate that was left to them, and they got from up under the real estate to be able to get their names off the real estate, to be able to sell the real estate, to get the proceeds from selling the real estate. And I've heard that they squandered over $80,000 within the last maybe since the last few months. You know, that they had more than enough money to be able to take care of these kids. They had more than enough income that was coming in that was left to them. You know, and they blew it all, smoking weed,
It
drinking,
doesn't.
and Lord knows doing what else, you know. But they were not being parents to these kids that, you know, that we tried to reach out to and help these young ladies about, you know. So you know, it's a lot to this story, and it's credible sources to have. They're going to come on the show and they're going to speak. They just didn't want to come on tonight, you know, but they reached out to me, you know, and I spoke with them for over an hour, and some of the things that they were telling me were, you know, just like plain right. You know, like situations like how they would go and get food, eat the food without the kids even seeing it, so they wouldn't have to share with the kids. And one would come outside, and the other who ate would go back in, and the other sister would eat in the car. Therefore, they wouldn't have to share the food with the kids, and then they would give the kids noodles.
It doesn't. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to know this. And this is what, you know. The audio, we was having some technical difficulties the day we did the show. So a lot of things that I was trying to hit on, I couldn't make my points. But it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that these women wasn't for those children.
And all,
And
you know, and I got more stuff that I'm going to talk about. But go ahead, Dave. They were not at all for these children.
well,
They
you
were
can
just
you
using
can
these
listen.
children as tools to be able to get money. That's
You can
it.
listen. You can listen to the attitude. You can listen to the excuses. You can listen to them getting angry because the way people sounded, like they don't want to take corrupted criticism because they didn't care. Whenever a mother tells you she went and took a shower somewhere else, and you know that the house that these children are living in is horrible, that is not livable for them, but you went and cleaned your body and theirs wasn't clean, that tells you right there.
That tells you a lot, you know. And the person that even called me even said that they acknowledged everything that you were trying to say. Big Dave was a fact. Um,
Of course.
One of the things that they even explained to me how how the school got involved. The school contacted CSB, um, gave them information. Like she gave me, well, the person told me that the kids would come to school, or one of the kids came to school with shit in the book bag, you know, shit like that. And she said one of the kids were
Excuse me.
literally eating shit, things like that. Man, it was horrible. You know, she said they would not buy these kids anything to no new clothes. They were not bathing these. So the news did not lie from what this credible source, you know, and all this is allegedly. I don't know how true this is, but like I said, this is coming from a very credible source, you know, and they asked me not to tonight reveal who they were, you know, until they come on. And they're going to come on the
Well,
show, you know. So I would
that's good. You're
love for
going to come.
Angel and
It's
her
good
sister
that
to
they
be able to
going.
come back on the show. Go ahead, Dave.
Well, that's good. They're not going to come on right now because what needs to be said is something that I already knew, and I'm not a rocket scientist. And you know, yeah, allegedly, whatever they told you, you have to make sure it's facts. But this is my facts, and I don't have to say allegedly for this. I could just listen to what they were saying, and everything they were saying, you could hear that they were straight up lying. Period.
No, and I agree with you 100%. You know, like told you
You got a
before
brand
we
new
actually started the
refrigerator.
show, you know, I made a, I'm not going to say I made a promise, but I told them that, you know, I would not bring them on or try to bash them, you know, actually to get them on the show, you know, and I kept my promise. I didn't bring them on. I didn't try to embarrass them. I didn't try to humiliate the young ladies. I just honestly really wanted to hear their story on how any
But
adults, let alone 13 children, can live in
I mean,
a house of horrors,
but
you know, because that's
see,
exactly what it is. And I'll let you speak and I'll get back to some more of the things that, you know, I was told.
yeah,
But go
you
ahead, Dan.
tell bits and pieces, you tell bits and pieces, but here's the thing, People want to make single parents sound like it's bad. My mother was a single parent and I was raised right. Not saying I didn't make mistakes in life, but I knew I was raised I was raised good, and she did everything she had to do as a mother to make sure we had everything that we had to have because we didn't ask to be here. That's because she cared as a mother. Any mother that has children, I don't care if it's one, two, three, four, five, they would do whatever they have to do to sacrifice for them children. These women did not do that. And I'm not going to knock them because they're young. What I'm knocking them on is they came on the air and sat there and lied and was getting, Angel was getting attitudes with the way people were sounding. Well, what do you think people want to say when they see the news and see the police lady sit there and tell them face to face that she wasn't trying to knock them? She came from the east side, but she says, no way you can tell me this just happened in a couple of days. This house is horrible.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm glad you brought that up. And this is what she had to say about the whole situation with the landlord. That was they were already on their last strike at that house. You know, and that's why
Already
when we
know it
spoke to them,
was.
I spoke with them the other day. You know, they actually told me that. Well, on the show, they said that they were evicted, I believe. You know, but
Yeah,
they were
no,
on
they
their
told
last
me they
strike
was
already at that
evicted.
house, and once the landlord saw that they were on the news and the police were in there and they saw the conditions of the house, yes, they were immediately evicted, you know, because they were already on their last step
Well,
at being at the house because
if you recall, I asked them, how can you be evicted? See, you can't just see what people got to understand is it's a process. A landlord can't just put you out. You have to go through the court. See, either squatters have rights.
yeah, you
Either
know,
squatters
so
have rights. So they
right.
was flat out lying about everything.
Yeah, they lied about everything, you know, allegedly. You know, I would love, like I said, I would love for them to, you know, come back on and, you know, try to unspeak their piece, you know, because from like I said, from what I heard today and this source that came to me is definitely credible. You know, they know everything about these young ladies and they told me everything. You know, they've even, you know, and I won't get off too much off into what she told me, but yeah, you know,
Well,
they
you want to
they
talk about the facts, allegedly, what they told you.
right.
And basically the facts of what they told you, and you have a little more because you talked to them. But what I'm saying is, if people go back and watch that first show and listen to their story, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that they were lying through the whole thing because the things they were saying, like she said she couldn't take a bath or a shower at the house because the kids would have been all over her. How you was gonna take a bath or shower at the house anyway and no water was working and the
Right. Well, she
tub
said she was
was
going to go over to
filled.
her friend's house or
No, I'm talking
whatnot.
about when she said at the house, why
Oh,
she
right. Yeah,
didn't
that the
take
kids will
it
be all over.
there.
Right. Yeah.
She said she didn't take it there because they would have been bothering her. How they gonna bother her? And it wasn't no water for her to take a bath or shower there, and the tub was filthy.
Yeah. So my whole thing is, man, these ladies are some frauds. Like I said, the credible source said these ladies had inheritance that they blew. You know, they blew through 80,000, and they still actually have property to be sold. That's waiting to be sold yet. You know, so it's a lot of investigation that's going to be going on with these young ladies. you even have their own family that's speaking up against them, that reached out to me. It was multiple people that reached out, and this young lady, I mean,
Well,
this,
you
yeah,
know why
well,
they're
I'll be
reaching
honest,
out.
this young lady who reached out to me, um, you know, told me that one of the sister's family member reached out that they actually saw the show, which that's why they told her. But none of these ladies have custody of their children. I believe it's the grandmother, and I believe it's someone else who has the other 8 kids. I can't remember exactly, of everything that she said, but from the most part, man, these ladies are just using these kids for um
Collateral.
yeah, for monetary gains only, and that's it. They're not being the parents
They're
that
using
we
they're
thought
using
that.
these kids as
Yeah, that's all they're using these
pawns.
kids is for monetary gains, man. This
Yeah,
woman
for
said
pawns. They're using
that
them as pawns. They
yeah,
get
and it's horrible, man. I couldn't
they
believe
get what
that,
they
they would come on here, and bold face lie. So the GoFundMe, is definitely canceled. I advise everybody out there, do not do not give your money or donate to that cause. Like I said, I'm actually going after the show. We're going to go immediately and cancel and end that GoFundMe. Because like I said, at the end of the day, this source that came to me definitely was credible. They know too much about these young ladies for this not to be true. So I just want to come on and touch bases, because like I said, she's definitely going to come on this show. She just did not want to come on tonight, but these ladies are a bunch of frauds, man. Like I said, they squandered a bunch of money that was left to them in property. They got their names from out up under the property so that they would be able to sell to property to get the money, and they
but
squandered and ran through that money, Big Dave.
remember what they told the officer. They tried to make it look like the news and the people. Now we all know, there's always two sides. We always know the news when they come out, breaking news. Sometimes they have the full facts. Sometimes they have part of it that just give you what you know. But this is what we do know. She asked the officer herself, "Do I need to go in there and clean
And
up the
clean up.
house? Do I need to go in there and clean up the house?" Like she could clean that house immediately. As
Right.
trashed as that house, well, it's going to take a cleaning company to come in there and clean that house.
Yeah, because not only that, Dave, and not to cut you off, the
No, you
source
did.
also
You
said that
good.
the kids were shitting um and urinating
Of
on the
course.
floors, because there was not the toilets
Nowhere to use
were
it.
was full of urine and feces.
Did
So
you see the
after that was
face?
full, she said that they were going in the sinks and they were going in the tubs.
Okay, did you see how the lady officer, how she was looking like she couldn't believe her eyes when she went in there?
Yeah, so I'm gonna be honest, man. These are some nasty, trifling, I'm gonna be honest, bitches, man. To even they were living like this for months, maybe even years,
Man, this stuff
from
been
what
going
I was
on since
told.
this been
They
going on
destroyed. She
since
said they destroyed
August.
this landlord's house.
Right. And then
That's
they
why the
tried to put it
landlord
on the
immediately
landlord.
evicted them.
They tried to put it on the landlord, but I knew that was a lie because
Yeah, it wasn't
I
on the
said
landlord. It
if
was
the
on they
landlord is
destroyed that
not
house.
taking care, if the landlord is not fixing property, you can you can put them on the news, you can do whatever you have to do to go after the landlord. But I knew that was a lie. I
And
knew that was a lie.
you had 13 people living in a 3-bedroom house.
Listen, man, not 13 people, 13
No, not
kids,
13,
and
16 people, because it was
yeah,
13
that's right.
kids. You had 16 people
That's
living
right.
in a 3-bedroom house.
And
My
then
bad.
remember the guy as the brother. He was supposed to come fix the situation,
Right.
but
But never
the
fixed it.
cat got threw down the steps that messed everything up. Everything is an excuse. No accountability, no responsibility. You know why? Because they didn't care about these children. These children are pawns to get ahead, to get whatever they need. So you
Yeah,
got a
pretty
car.
much, man. But what really fucked me up, Dave, is when the source told me that this is how fucked up that these women were, that they would eat outside in the car so that the kids wouldn't see
I
what they
believe
were eating. And once one was finished, the other one would come out and sit in the car and eat. And then they would go back in and then feed the kids noodles. And then they
I
said the old
believe it.
one was watching all of the other kids, which was the 12-year-old. So I mean,
Hey, hey, it's a sad shame that this is happening to these children. These children don't understand what's going on. All they know is that they're trying to survive, and they don't even understand why
yeah,
these
the
parents are not
situation.
protecting them. And the girl said she went and got a brand new refrigerator from Rent Center, but why is all the food in the car? Based on what she said, why is all the food in the car? That's how I knew. That's why I wanted to go after them. See,
Yeah, and,
people,
and and you was there from the beginning. I promised them that I would, and I gave
and
them
I
a fair shot
understood.
to be able to
I
come on here and
understood.
speak their piece. But I'm going to see if they are available. Because I know they're probably up and they may be watching this and they should see this. Because they are.
Cassandra and Angela, if you are watching, come on in. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually going to send her a link to be able to come in. Because I can't believe that they would come here. I'm not going to say I can't believe, but I really I wanted to hear what they had to say on how anyone with 13 children could live in a house
What it sounds
with
like,
no running water, with no usable toilets, dog feces and human feces, and you're allowing your kids to live
do
in
you
this
want to hear do you want to hear the
cesspool.
other excuse?
Go ahead.
You know I have a photographic memory. You want to hear the other excuse?
I'm
Oh,
listening.
the dog was tearing the bags that the shitty diapers were in and eating it and dropping it and dragging it all over the house. The reason it got on the floor. Another lie.
Yeah, so here I got the email now. I'm getting ready to send it out. Um, so yeah, I'm getting ready to send it out. But yeah, that was a lie, Dave.
Another lie. Because everybody know a dog is not going to be eating and biting through the diapers. They might do their own stuff, but that ain't how dogs do.
Nah, if a dog smells shit, they gonna leave that shit up right where it is.
Yeah, they might lick their own stuff,
Right.
but not nobody else's. That's what they
And
do.
like I said, they said the kids were taking the shit to school in the book bags.
Man, come on, man.
Yep.
Come
So
on.
I don't even know, which they don't have custody of these kids.
They
I don't
ain't been
know.
had custody, bro.
Yeah.
Because this been going on since August 11, 2025, and probably longer than that. This is just what we have reported. This is what we seen and read up on. It could go even further, okay? Because like I told you, they made it sound like that house got trashed like that in 4 to 5 days because they said they didn't have time to clean because everybody works. A house ain't gonna get like that in no 4 to 5 days. That took some time to build up.
Yeah.
For that
And
stuff to
like
be
and
all stuck on the walls and
right.
floors and toilet, you
You
know.
know, and we really didn't even get a good look, because most of the views that was shown, a lot of the stuff was blurred out. Well, they blurred the kids out, so but that made a lot of the things that they were showing were blurred out. But these were some disgusting, trifling women. They do not deserve to be parents. If everything that I was told today was true, hopefully they'll never ever have an opportunity to be parents again. What
Well,
mother allows their children to live in squander and Oh, and then not only that, they said the kids were coming to school with what do you call it, lice and shit like that all in their hair,
Oh, I believe
things
it.
like that.
I believe it. I
So
believe it.
pretty much, if that means you're unclean, unfit, for to even carrying lice and things like that around, you're not being bathed regularly, stuff like that.
But
I
she
sent
had
her a link
the
out. She definitely has the link to be able to come in and speak
hey,
her piece on that. Like I said,
she had the
I wish the witness, I mean the credible witness I had today was able to come on, because
well,
I
she
wanted her to
doesn't.
speak everything that I
Hey,
wanted
the
her to
witness,
talk and tell everything that I'm saying today and right now.
the witness doesn't have to come on. Now the witness will contact you when they're ready to come on. The thing is, allegedly, based on what everything she told you
And I'm gonna
is
say
true.
allegedly,
Yeah, we're gonna say that because, like you said, this is her side of the story.
right?
But if it's true, it's a damn shame that these 13 children have to suffer. That's a damn basketball and football team in that house.
Yeah, and what I was told, man, it was a brother. They had I believe, an older brother that end up killing one of his children, allegedly. So it sounds like, man, this family is
Sounds like
fucked
a
up,
whole mixed
and
up.
have a lot of mental issues, and a lot of things going on, man. So at the end of the day, like I said, Dave, hopefully CSB um
CSB, remember she
CSB will stop
said they
these women
let
for being
well,
parents.
remember she said they got out of jail because CSB believed them. Listen, when I asked her what was the charge, you see she didn't answer it.
Right.
You see, she didn't answer. No, they got
Yep.
all the evidence. They let them out under investigation
Yep.
because they're investigating the situation. But like I said, the sad thing about this whole thing, these women are just laying on their backs, having baby after baby.
Baby. Yeah.
One got 8, one got 5. No, this is not a judge or degrade because they're having children, but let's get to the fact. If a person doesn't judge you, you need something sometimes to bring the consciousness out of you. And usually, sometimes someone judging you will make you sometimes get right because a lot of people don't want to be judged.
All right.
So sometimes when someone judges you, sometimes it might bring the conscience out a little faster and it might make you get right. But in there, when you're bold and you don't give a damn, and this is about just you and nobody else, you can care less what somebody think about you. And the angel showed her boldness because when the show was ending, we were just stating facts. And she came back on and said, I don't like the way they're all talking. And so you can keep the GoFundMe.
See,
You know,
in the
that
credible
was the
source mentioned
attitude.
that too.
Yeah, that was an attitude. So what are you getting angry for? Because people are hearing bad reports and seeing bad things that's happening to these children. Of course, people are going to come to the defense of children because children didn't ask to be here and they don't deserve to be treated that way. So, any decent human being are going to want to defend a child.
See,
It's bad
and
enough
I'm glad
about
you said
our.
that, Dave. See, that's what got me actually involved in the beginning. Seeing the kids from the beginning and then seeing them in that house and the conditions that that this house was in, it kind of caught my heart. And I felt a lot of sympathy for these children, but from what I was told, the lady asked me to cancel the GoFundMe. She said these kids are gonna have everything that they need. They don't need anything as of right now. They're being well taken care of from where they're at now. You know, um, So I just wanted to come on real quick and talk about this for a second and give you guys an update, because allegedly, these Lambert sisters are a bunch of liars and frauds, and they're a bunch of unfit parents, that do not need to have custody of these children, because they had these children living in unfit conditions that you wouldn't even have an animal living in, let alone 13 children. So Dave, give me your last thoughts, man, on this, and we're gonna go ahead and close out. I just want to come on here real quick and talk about this for a second and not too long. I gave them a chance to come on and speak their piece. They'll have plenty more opportunities, but I'm quite sure more than likely I'll probably never hear from these young ladies ever again.
Well, I'm just hoping and praying and glad that someone has the children right now and they're getting bathed, they're getting fed, and they're getting able to be dressed so they can go to school and get the education, because no
Yeah.
kid
And another
should
thing,
have
she
to
said they
suffer.
went for a whole year without even going to school.
Right. And see, no kid deserves to have to suffer like that when they didn't ask to be here. We
Yeah.
already live in a society that's corrupt. We already live in a high inflation society. It's hard to have one kid in this society. Groceries are high. Everything is going up. Some people are losing health assurance, that they can't even get certain tests that help save their lives. There's enough going on right now. No child should have to suffer behind ignorance of parents that don't care. Especially two women that's just laying around, having fun, and having baby after baby and using them for pawns to get what they want. And if this is true, that they were hiding while they were eating good and then feeding the kids anything.
Feeding
If
them
this is
noodles,
true,
feeding the kids noodles.
this is the worst stuff I could have ever heard.
Yes,
Whenever
when
you
I
don't
heard
want
that,
to
and it's
feed
a
a
lot more
child,
that was told to me that I can't remember right now. I'm quite sure to come to me after the show, but I'm going to bring the young lady on, and she'll be able to let you guys hear everything that she told me. But at the end of the day, man, I just want to come back on and do an update on this. And I couldn't believe what I was told today. I can't believe that these two young ladies would come up here and absolutely, lie, to the world, about their situation, and then, I'm not going to say want people to have sympathy, but, it was a disgrace, man. This whole thing, it was a sham. They're two unfit children that needs to be really, they need to be locked the fuck up, and that's what I told the source. I'm like, I don't even know how why they was even released. There's no way, CSB is
well,
giving kids back.
well, put it like this: if they were released, they were released and under investigation. That
And
they
I heard that they're on tethers, and they're on probation.
Yeah,
So,
well,
you know,
listen, they're going to make sure they got a tight grip on them, but this is not over. Because, like I
oh, by
said,
a long shot.
no, this is not over. And like I said, everything that the source gave you, hopefully, is the honest God truth, and it sounds like it's coming from the heart. Because, like I said, when it comes to children, people will fight for children because children don't deserve this.
All right.
Any decent human being would stick their neck out for a child, and this is 13 kids that's suffering right now. That's not
Right.
eating properly. That's not being cleaned properly. That's not getting the education, and it's not fair to them. And when you heard that one kid compliment the officer's hair and said, "I like your hair," they
Right.
sound like they well mannered.
Yeah, real well-mannered children. Um, not no ghetto fad. just hoodlums. They sound like well-mannered kids that has a little education.
But you
I
know
should
what's
say.
sad about that? They were sounding like they were happy, and
Yeah.
they didn't need to understand that they were in danger of their
Listen,
health
they didn't even
failing.
understand the living conditions and the unfit living
No,
conditions that they were living in. And
and
that's
and
what.
didn't understand that their health can get bad
Yeah.
under this type of behavior.
You know,
Now,
so my question to you mothers out there, what type of mother will allow, their children to live in unfit conditions like this? Comment down below. I need to know this. What mother would allow their children to live with no running water, no flushable toilets, no food in the refrigerator, human and dog feces on the floor, in the toilets, in the sinks, in the bathtub. That's horrible. When the police came there that day, which they did lock them up, um, there shouldn't have been a way they should have not been released, but at the end of the day, they're still going
guess
through the
what?
situation, and I'm quite sure at the end of the day, you know, um,
Do you
once
know?
all this is over and all this stuff is proven to be true, they won't even have a chance to even have custody of these kids anymore.
If you really think about it, that we said on the show, those neighbors who called the police about a cat going getting through down the steps, that was the overlay for the underlay to get the
Yeah, that's
police
that's
to
all it
come
was, and the source said
because
that too.
they knew
Really,
something
it was for
wasn't right.
it was the call was for the authorities to come out there and check on the living conditions and these what the living conditions what these children were living in, and that's what
When
that was
that
about.
door opened and no police smelt the inside of that house, that's
They
what made
smelled
them
that
go in.
shit before they even opened up the door. If you can recall, they was like, "What is that smell?"
And that's why they went in. See, because
Yeah.
that's probable cause. They need to know why is it smelling like that in there. That's probable cause. And when they went in there, they ran into a horror flick.
And I ain't gonna lie, Dave. I tried to give these women. I'm not gonna say I tried to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I tried. I just wanted to hear their explanation. I wanted to
Well,
hear
you
their
gave
thoughts
them.
on how anyone can live like that.
Well, you gave them. Put it like this, bro. Um, Me and you went back and forth on this, and I was angry at that show, and I was on that show,
Right.
and I was very angry because they wasn't getting question on hard. They wasn't getting questioned under fire. Um, they had it
Well, the
easy.
questions I asked, I asked mainly a lot of the questions that mainly a lot of people would want to know. Like,
No, I
was it
know,
true that you
but
you you guys were living
they
with
wasn't
no running
getting.
water,
They wasn't
no usable
getting.
toilets, shit on the floor, dog
Right, right.
feces and
I
things like that.
understand
So I just
that.
gave the questions that I asked were, the
Right,
conditions that they were living in.
but I understand that. But they wasn't getting challenged. You
Right.
was trying to
Well, I'm
get
not
them.
going to say they wasn't getting challenged.
Yeah,
They
because
they
you was
answered.
trying to
They
give
had to
them.
answer those questions.
Right. Well, what I'm trying to say is, bro, they wasn't getting called out on their lies because they were lying right in our face. But I understood that you was trying to give them the benefit of the doubt and let them
Right.
tell their side.
Right.
And but I was still angry through the thing because it was bothering me that they were just sitting up there lying, and you could just tell everything they were saying they were lying.
Yeah,
They were
and
flat
like I
out
said, I
lying.
tried to give them the benefit of the doubt, but most people saw through the lies, and I even said that after the show and a follow-up. I said most people thought that they were giving excuses and and they were, they were making up every excuse for the situation, for the questions that I asked.
Yeah,
So
they was running around circles.
yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, they was running around circles. But like I said, at the end of the day, I'm happy that right now the kids are somewhere, hopefully getting treated better.
Yeah,
They're
no,
getting
they're
better.
definitely in safe hands. They're away from these two disgusting,
Yeah,
women. Hopefully, hopefully they can get their act together one day. You know, I'm not saying that, they should not ever be able to see their kids again, but at this point, they should not ever have custody of these children right now, because it's been proven that there are two unfit parents that really didn't give a fuck about these children at
Let me
all.
tell you about something I know about parents not giving a fuck. I got relatives who gave up her 6 children. They gave the children back to her, and she still left them alone until they almost got caught in a fire. And then they was forced to take them, and she never went back and tried to get them because you know what? She didn't want them. So why turn around and have all these kids if you don't want them? That's what I can't understand from women who do things like this.
And then and I'm gonna say one more thing that was told to me, and then I'm gonna go on ahead and let you speak your last words, and we can go ahead and end it. But
Okay.
the boyfriend that was arrested, that was there with them that day, that went to jail. Well,
That they claim was the brother.
yeah, no. It was the youngest sister with 5 kids boyfriend. Well,
Okay.
from what I was told, she's no, and they've even admitted to this after the show. When I spoke to them afterwards, that she's no longer with him. Now I'm hearing that she's already with another, allegedly has another boyfriend already. I'm like, already? I said, this
But
is
see,
crazy.
look at what they thinking about. Why is children suffering? They thinking about a damn boyfriend. Why is children suffering? This is how they got in the position that they're in right now because they
Yeah,
just
land on their
going
back.
men. They land with different men, having
Yeah.
too much damn fun.
And my question, Dave, is what man would want to come and lay up with a woman in a house like that? That says a lot for a
A
man that wants to lay up with a woman like that.
trifling bum that ain't got
Oh my
nothing else going
God.
on. That ain't got nothing going on. Because a real man wouldn't even accept that, and a real man would have went over there and seen all that. They would have got the hell out of
Man,
there.
a real man wouldn't have never even stepped foot in that. And listen, if you can smell shit coming from the house from the outside, imagine what the stench smells on the inside. So how my question is, you have to be a nasty motherfucker to want to come in that house and lay down
Well, the women are
with one of
definitely
those women.
nasty. The women are definitely nasty because they were sitting up there in it. So that means they were immune to the smell.
Right, exactly. And the children were immune to the shit. And the smell, so at the end of the day, man, that's what my sympathy was for. That's what I was trying to do this GoFundMe for, not for the women, for the children who did not understand the conditions that they were living in. But Big Dave, let everybody know what you got going on, man. Let everybody know where they can reach you.
All right. Y'all can reach me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok under Real Talk Wit, WIT, Big Dave. On Facebook, Big Dave Crawford. Get with me. I'm a podcaster. I'm up and coming. I got a lot of stuff going on. I got a lot of good stuff coming, and I don't let them off easy. I'm coming hard. And I talk about everything, not just one single thing. So just get with me. Make sure y'all go on and subscribe. Y'all gonna like what I'm coming with. That's real talk.
Well, again, Dave, I want to thank you again for coming on to the show, man, giving us your opinion, giving us your thoughts. We're definitely going to have another update on this. I sent out links for the young women to be able to come in, but more than likely, like I said, we'll probably never hear from these young ladies again. But we're definitely going to have the interview with that source this upcoming week. So I can't wait.
I can't wait to. I'm looking forward to it. I
Yeah,
can't wait.
because I want you guys to hear from the source, just like I let you guys hear from, the original sources. That was why I originally brought these young ladies on for them to be able to speak their piece about the situation, about their living conditions, So, but like I said, man, we're definitely going to have another update. We're definitely going to bring this credible source back on so that she can tell you guys what she told me, you know, because it's a lot that I left out and it's a lot that I did not say, you know, because I didn't want to tell everything, you know. I wanted to save a little bit so when she comes on, she'll be able to explain that, you know. So I just want to come on and pretty much let you guys know that that GoFundMe is done. Do not donate. Once I'm done with here, I'm going to cancel it and end that, you know. So those kids will be all right. They're in good hands where they're at now, you know. So I don't have anything else to add. We're definitely going to update and get back with you guys about this story. It's another one. It's your boy Dame D, and I am out.
Peace.
Peace.